This is your daily market recap for Tuesday, April 25th, 2023. Let's go. Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well.
This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka The Trading Agent. This is your daily market recap for Tuesday, April 25th, 2023. Let's get into it. We are in very deep into earnings season. After the close today, you got Google, Microsoft, Illumina, Texas Instruments, Visa, Chipotle, ton of companies. So let's get into what's going on. As we thought, the market had downside potential, right? Looking to drop, expecting a drop. Today we got it. Hopefully, if you were short, like we recommended, you were on top of it. You also followed on Twitter. You followed in the Discord room. I hope people harvested some gains. Now, why would I say take some gains? You're bearish, right? Trade around your positions. If you didn't do that today and you didn't listen, well, don't be surprised. I've always said earnings is typically bullish because what CEO, what management's going to come out and say we're absolutely terrible, the future is bleak, and we're never going to make our shareholders money. That's not what they do. They try to Pollyanna everything and cherry pick the good stuff. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to dump or go higher, but remember, because the numbers are the numbers. The reaction is key. As we're seeing after hours, we're seeing some of the tech rise. Are you surprised? Again, we'll see if it holds up. Either way, I'm anticipating the market to hold up probably until the end of the week, at worst into the FOMC meeting. Because at this point, down gives the Feds more wiggle room. Chop would put them in a place of just, in my mind, it'd be distributive, right, if it could hold up. But we'll see what happens. If you have any questions, please reach out. Hit me up on the Discord room. Please follow me on Twitter. I'm telling you, posting a lot of stuff, posting charts. Hopefully somebody saw, some of these charts today. Very interesting. Now, again, is it easy to spot bottoms, pick bottoms intraday? No, it's not. You really never know. Because intraday action traps, which we talk about predicting, you don't know you're in a trap until it closes, right? Because the first direction, say going down, would be a bear trap. And if it goes up, bull trap. I don't know. A lot of things we're talking about going into earnings. And so just be careful. Remember, the market's meant to take the most amount of money from the most amount of people. So follow me on Twitter, please. You'll find that we post a lot of stuff. And again, if you're really looking to grow, follow me on YouTube, subscribe, hit the like button, notification bell. We do live chats all the time. Go to my website, thetradingagent.com. Tons of information, especially back to basics education, starting from more of a beginner introduction level to what to read, and then into deeper stuff. So if you have any questions, again, don't hesitate to reach out. Here for you guys. Let's get into it. Fed tool, 70% odds of a rate hike next week. As of right now, looks like it's a sure thing. Again, the market drops, that could change. Keep that in mind. Bitcoin, as we talked about yesterday and the day before, if we break below this, this could be forming a shoulder line. At worst, a base to potentially retest the highs. Now, my opinion on Bitcoin, kind of like gold, all these things, I think the dollar is basing. You got to probably trade around your position, just like everything else. Unfortunately, that's not the easy answer. That's not one that people want to hear. Chop is a part of the game. Now, at this point, what would I do? Man, if I had profits shorting, I would take some. If I had profits long, I would have taken some. And now I would watch what happens. Again, because all or nothing trading is gambling. You're essentially betting on that the future without impunity. You're going to be 100% correct. And the odds that you're going to always be right is what? Not high. The odds are really what? You're going to be early. You're going to be wrong sometimes. And then sometimes you're going to be dead right. Well, dead right, 15, 25% time. Early, 30, 40, 50% time. And depending on how good your trader, dead wrong, 10, 15, 20, 30% of the time. You just don't know. So with Bitcoin, same kind of thing. Odds, probabilities. Here for oil, again, we talked about popping, hitting resistance, backing off, held support. In my mind, at this point going forward, I think it's just going to be a choppy, sloppy mess. Same as your friend in natural gas. It was up today, down tomorrow. And again, natural gas is probably going to play the bottom chop game. That's what I think is going to happen. Now, that might not be popular in opinion. And people are all like, I got to get in it now. I have no desire to get in early. So let's get into the market names. Again, try to make these recaps a little quicker. A lot of people are like, hey, can you talk faster? Well, hey, you know what? Put it on 1.25 speed. It might help you out, get through the video quicker. The dollar, talked about the 20-day. Now, are we surprised the dollar's going higher on today's action? No, we're not. But keep in mind, play games, chop around, gets over the 20-day, can back off. I think the bottom's in, higher lows to come at worst, in my opinion. This is TLT. What do we say? Choppy range, 103 to 109. Held. Now you're trying to get back up to the upper end of the range. bonds start screaming higher, like being bought TLT, then I think the market could flop. But as long as it trades in this range, it's kind of one of those things where it's tough to know for sure. The VIX. All right, let's do a little history lesson here. When the VIX bounces, the first pop off the bottom, what happens typically after? There's a pullback at some point, right? There will be. I mean, I guess you didn't really get too much one in August, but here you go. Here was one in April of last year. Wink, wink, right? Bottom, bottom. Again, like any other chart in trade, again, everyone thinks V bottoms. The honest truth is that most things retest. Have some sort of higher low, lower high, retest, whatever. Nothing just bottoms in a straight line. Look at the tops especially, right? You make a higher high, lower high. Oh, excuse me. And then you come back. At this point, going into earnings, going into FOMC, my anticipation is it's going to be choppy. As we've said, trade around your position. Don't be surprised if it spikes and then pulls back. Hence why I prefer to sell some volatility on the pop and go from there. It's really that simple, y'all. It is really that simple, but it doesn't have to be. I know. The VIX we talked to said was giving you signs of waking up, but look at here today. Now, again, if you're watching this video, please leave a comment. I want to know people are watching and getting involved because, again, remember the VIX told you it was going to bottom. Notice today's action. The VIX didn't do crap. SPY. Remember, that's the VIX of the VIX. Are you surprised that we're making lower highs? Chopping around. Talked about it for weeks. Chop is frustrating. Now, could we go much lower? I mean, obviously, we could get down to 405. That seems very logical, but there's no guarantees. People struggle because they see the closes at the high of the day or the low of the day, and you see what happens a lot. You get these reversals. Now, could reversal happen overnight because of earnings? That's what's so tough here, right? Like we could wake up tomorrow and be at 408 and chop around even more going into FOMC meeting. Keep that in the back of your mind. After hours, you got Google, Microsoft, Texas Instruments. I mean, they're all looking pretty good. And I'm looking at the the QQQ's up 2-3 points. Right now it's at 312.50 after hours. Here you go. I mean, literally just thank you. QQQ gave you an example of what I'm talking about here. We're probably going to gap up tomorrow at this point. In the morning, you got BA. Yeah, you got nothing. So some durable orders. Who knows? It's tough. I know it's tough. A lot of people just want to be all in short, all in long, never hedging, never trying to take risk off, never trying to what I would describe as harvest gains in anticipation of a bigger move, but knowing the uncertainty in the near term. Unless you're going to turn your damn screens off and disappear until June, it's going to be one of those things where you're going to have to probably, again, trade around the high, and then when it goes, it goes. Just keep in mind, like, here you go. First, off the bottom, pop, right? This was a little different. This was a bear trap, right? It goes higher and then, but even down here, rebought. Again, off the low, retest, higher high, or higher low. You go, drops, bounces. Now, again, how deep? This one's a tough one. One's tough one to me because I think there is earnings. There is the Fed meeting. Like, are people really going to absolutely unload going into the Fed meeting? I don't know. That's the question. IWM, not surprised, right? Lagging. Talked about breaking the channel. Now you're back at support. Keep this in mind. Watch the 171 to 173 range. It could chop around before it goes lower too. I mean, it's one of those things where, again, I might be hedging and selling volatility for a day or two. I'm not going long crazy and trying to anticipate a big up move, but I'm not surprised if at some point we get a lot of this like chop slop action. DIA, same thing. Talked about making lower highs. 20-day, keep an eye on it. Gold popped today in the afternoon. Chopping. Watch the 20-day. Silver, lagging. Typically should be leading. Keep an eye on it, right? 20-day holding, but it's not near the all-time highs, kind of like Mr. Gold. GDX, talked about it, lagging, holding the 20-day, and we said what? Watch 33s. So far, so good for bulls. I personally don't really have a position. I'm looking for a major pullback because, again, I trust the GDXJ because the junior miners are the most leveraged. They're under the 20-day. They don't really look that good. AG, talked about it hitting up in the resistance, the 200-day. It's just chopping around here. It doesn't really tell me much. AEM, same thing. Just chop. These names, and again, just 20-day holding. Just be patient. As you can see, the 55 area is very important. Newmont's been lagging so badly compared to other miners, right? Other miners are at or above January highs. This thing is not even close. Like, not even the same ballpark. PAAS, double top, right? Test the January highs, backs off. Hope that's simple. Let's get into tech here because I think this is where it's going to be surprising to people when I'm saying you might want to take some profits. Taiwan Semi, 200-day. After a big drop, goes from 95 down to 83. you think it might bounce? I mean, literally 91. I mean, it's down 10, 15, 20% due to bounce. Micron, Jay Solstice's favorite, right? Fills the gap, right? Could it hold this area? Could it be holding today? I don't know. Texas Instruments after the close. I mean, it seems to be, things seem to be all over the place, right? So, could it hold? Could it hold? Question mark. AMD talked about it getting down into this 86 level, right? The 0.618. Well, look what it does. There's a gap here at 82. Could it get down there? Always possible, but it's off 20% off the highs, right? You're down here at support, right? Like, zoom this out, right? This area matters in here. Does it have to bounce? No. But if you're a bear, would you like it to bounce? I think it makes sense because then you can trade around your position, right? You take some profits, you hope it bounces, say the 20-day or the 50-day, and then you just reload the heck out of it, right? You get the volatility index to come down, the IV to come down, you just reload it. NVIDIA, sorry, we were right, told the 20-day at some point. But look, what are the odds it's going to hold 261 here and just without melting down through it? It's probably not going to do that. In my opinion, I think it would hold chop, again, 20-day rolling over, and again, it might just be 1 day, 2 day, 1 day, 2 day, not too long. Wow. For solar, EMPH, adios amigos, right? Keep an eye on it, right? Keep an eye on it. We'll get to solar here in a second. Intel, people are like, oh, you can see the future. It's like, no. You just see repeating patterns. Hits the range highs. Now you're back. 100-day, 200. Like, look to the left. Like, this area matters, right? In the 28 area, you would like to see it bounce because then, again, you wrap in more bulls. You get some bears to uncover, and then you do what? Snap it down later. That's how I like to short. That to me is how a trend moves, not in one straight line all day. SMH, we talked about. I posted this on Twitter. Watch the 240 to 242 level. Here we are. Look to the left, right? Look to the left. Could we bounce a little bit? Texas Instruments, you got some names coming. I don't know. AMD, they've been destroyed. Don't be surprised if it, again, how big is the move up? It might not be big at all. It might just be something, not like that, but it could just be a couple days. Couple days, right? Like couple days, right? Like look at last April. I imagine there was something in there. Yeah. I mean, it just happens. It's part of the game. And again, if you're a swing trader and you don't care and you're not watching, then ignore my advice here. Just you've got the bear on your side. Just be prepared. I'm trying to warn people mentally. Don't be surprised if it doesn't go in a straight line move the whole way. Adobe, 20-day, fail. Apple, what do we talk about, right? Generational high, potentially 20-day, watching it chop up here. Again, I think this thing could get smoked. Dwayne bought puts on Amazon yesterday. Nice. Again, 20-day, don't be surprised if it chops around. You have their earnings coming up after the close on Thursday. CRM, talked about the 200 level, right? Hate to say I'm right. Hey, hate to say you're welcome. Hate to say thank you for the information and trying to help you guys out. Appreciate all the love and support and donations. But the reality is that it's just patience. We talk about M-top. It's just you don't know what is going to cause it. Well, First Republic earnings, people started freaking out. Hong Kong down. Could you have guessed it? I mean, again, it comes when it comes, right? That action happens when it happens. Guggenheim, after hours, up at 108, chopping around. Not surprised. If I'm a bear, and here you go. You see how there's some action up here in the 112 to the 116 range? Like, if you get up there, you snap that off. I think it's an easy short. No diggity, no doubt. Because what it feels like it would be is this. This gap up and flop. Meta, same thing. They've got earnings. When are their earnings? I thought they were soon. I think they are. Whatever. I've pared down the puts I have on it. I've got June. Took a little bit today. Again, we'll see what happens. Again, my options account is so long dated that I'm not even watching it at this point. I've got my defined risk and I'm just letting it roll. June, July puts. I mean, it's just not cheap, but hey, you know what? To sleep well at night and not have to expect it to move right away, I feel pretty good about, especially when you get in pretty good. So under the 20-day, not surprised. Mr. Softy, after hours, is doing what? Well, back up, got up to 291. Not surprised. Again, oh, look at that alarm up at 295. Oh, you silly. Check that out. Get up there. I think that's a great spot to just watch. And again, if you're close enough to 300, just keep that in mind. There is Is the gap up here? I figured there was. I'm like, why is it not drawn? But there is a gap right here. That could be necessity to close. Just keep that in mind. I like gap. The gaps to me have always been pink because they stand out, right? Like they'll just, you know what that is. Like trend lines are black for me. Fibs are certain colors, but the pink gap, very simple for me for drawing. So watch what happens. NDAQ. Talked about this being a piece of crap, bouncing, flopping. Keep it simple, stupid. MicroStrategy holding up. Bitcoin holding up. That's kind of interesting. We're at support, right? Draw the chart, right? When you see and you look over, what do you think about MicroStrategy, right? Do I have to tell you that it potentially is at support? This is where, again, it's almost like as we get into Tesla here in a second, like you drop enough, you hit support, you're gonna find buyers, right? Netflix. You're welcome here. I mean, this is another one. We talked about any bounce, right? Any bounce. Look for short. Now, again, I hope it gets up to here, but it might not. And this is the thing. If you're shorted already, sorry, like frozen, just give it time. Give it time. Trade around it, right? It's not going to go in a straight line. Roadblocks. Remember, the straight line move is typically near the end, not the beginning, right? Here you go. Same thing with roadblocks. We talked about gap down, not giving guidance. Probably not going to hold up. Good old Tesla. Holding support, right? You got a fib here. Is this a little bear trap couple days? Now, again, if you're a bear, and a lot of bears don't like this. They just want straight line action all day, all the time. I like to manage my position and trade it. I like down, up, down. Again, you can leverage the crap out of a trend. Maybe you might not get all of it all the time, but if you don't harvest gains, if you've ever been in this position, something just rips back for no reason and you don't take any gains and boom, they're gone. Let's keep this going. We get through tech. Let's get into commodities and just wrap it up. Letter X. We talked about commodities. Didn't look good. Well, guess what? They're down. Nucor, as we talked about, popped. Flop. 50-day. Chopping around. Caterpillar coming into earnings. It's tough to know. Chopping around. Don't know. VALE, as we talked about. VALE looks weak. Something going on globally. Right? Copper's been getting hit over the head recently. This one's been holding up. Keep that in mind. So when you do want to look for copper names bullish, this might be the best one because of the way it's acting as the market has been dropping. Copper has been taking a siesta as a commodity. Looks like it's coming down. CCJ. Hey, look at that. Uranium holding up. Cool. Chopping around. Again, all these names I like CF. I mean, this is where I'm like begging. Please absolutely destroy these names because they're going to be your friend. They all look the same to me. They're just all, leave them alone. If you're short them, I guess just trade them. Or, at some point they're going to capitulate. Just be patient. AA, same thing. Whoa, look at them doggies. New lows. Hit my alarm. Again, these things have downside risk. XLF, as you talked about, 3350 to 3250. You're welcome. Would love to see a pop to re-short even more if you have an opportunity. Again, I'm waiting for JP Morgan. If you took the short at 140s, congrats. We talked about it. I mean, I literally posted this. You're welcome. Throw your boy a $5 tip. You right? No, I will be waiting for a pop to short this because I hope it does this kind of crap. Then it goes. Morgan Stanley, but I could be wrong though. And if you're short it, again, give yourself time. Hits the 150-day cross. Boink. Goldman Sachs gets above wasn't it 200-day? Yeah, chopping around. Keep an eye on it. XBI. Hello. It's a 200-day, 50-day. Again, weakness. Good old solar. Not surprised. I warned people it's going to get crushed. Whoa. TAN is at 73 after hours. Yeah. ENPH. Let me guess where this thing's at. Oh, 187. All right. Well, it's back at the range lows. Keep an eye on that. Not surprised. Again, it's all this stuff. This is where, again, if you trade through earnings, be careful. Right? Sedgerton, same thing, 309. But they got earnings coming up, I'm pretty sure, here shortly as well. Just be careful holding to earnings. Because, again, just because one drops doesn't mean the other ones have to follow as well, right? It's no guarantee. Just keep that in mind. First Solar, as we talked about, chopping, slopping, could probably short it at a 20-day. After hours, back at 204. Remember, they have earnings after the close on Thursday. No guarantee. End it with oil. Kapow. Market. Remember we talked about market weakness. Should oil drop? Well, is oil double bottoming? Intraday, like for a bounce, right? Keep an eye on it, right? UNG. Oh, man, just leave it alone. XOP, warned folks. Warned you. What? Hit the 200 back off. Now here we are at the range lows, filling some gaps. watch the 125 area because it could chop here for a minute or two or flop. It's tough to know. Again, you have to understand in a probability-based game, you have to harvest gains at some point. When you're right, you definitely have to let them run. So but the thing about shorting, right? It's just for a trade. Shorting is always a trade. It's not an investment strategy, right? And along the way, you will get the final bottom will be a straight line move. I just don't feel like coming off the highs, we're at the straight line move yet. It's going to be choppy, sloppy going into earnings and FOMC. Same stuff. ExxonMobil, here you go, hitting the monthly trend line, backing off, say it every day. Occidental, we talked about how this one is lagging. 50-day, yeah, it just doesn't really look that good. PXDIS getting bought out by ExxonMobil, I don't know, but chopping at the highs. I hope it holds up for friends who own it. EQT, we talked about. These names are, again, all these names will be great at some point, but not yet. And then we'll end it with Flex LNG, as always. Here you go. Chop, 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 chop. Love this name back in the 29, maybe 25 area. If you have any questions, again, please reach out. Don't hesitate. You have to be kind of kind to yourself. You have to be understanding of yourself that you're not going to be able to figure this out in 1 year, 1 month, 1 trade, whatever. The best people have journals. They remember their emotions. They remember what it felt like. Because sometimes, as Eric and I love to say, the hard thing is usually the right thing to do, right? Like taking profits when you're up huge, shorting when everyone's bullish, covering shorts when everyone's freaking out. That's what the market's really good at. It's really getting good at getting you to cloud your emotions and do the wrong things at the wrong time. So if you're trading around your positions, managing it, make sure you have your core. Make sure you have positions hedged. If you're over your core, have a defined plan. And please, for the love of God, have a journal. I'm telling you right now, you cannot remember every day that you've ever traded and everything that ever happened in the market. And the only way to remember that is to have a journal, be able to review it, be able to look at it, and know in your heart, your mind, your soul, whatever, all right, let's get spiritual, that you're familiar with what could happen. And you're not sitting here telling yourself, I can't be wrong. I can't be wrong. Because once you start believing your own hype, that's when things start getting messy. All right. I will talk to you guys and gals later. Have a great night. See ya.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.